All right. Well, thank you for purchasing Dream Change by Lanny Kibbey. I'm here with the man himself. We're gonna have a casual talk, and we'll give you some more history about the trick, history about Lanny. If you don't know him, he's one of the funniest people I know here in Houston, Texas. I've known him for a while, but like his magic is awesome. His entertainment is awesome, and we're here in his magic show theater, which I hope he talks about. And all right, let's start. So, yeah, tell us about you, Lanny.
Well, if you haven't heard about me, for just short of 18 years, I worked as a house magician at Magic Island in Houston, Texas. There was a
Yeah.
Magic Island in Newport Beach and one here in Houston, Texas. It's a lot like the Magic Castle in Hollywood, except for it was only a private club at the beginning, and it was open to the public the whole time that I was working there. But we did shows, close-up shows, like 3 to 4 times an hour, times an 8-hour shift, times 180 to 240 nights a year, times 60 years. I did over 30,000 shows, conservative estimate. It's more like 50 to $70,000, that 70,000 shows
That's cool.
if you added it up.
Mhm.
Um, every one of those shows, I did the dollar bill exchange in there, so it it's been worked out a lot. I thought I invented I thought that I did not invent the trick. I thought that I was taught the trick when I was young by a magician named Bob Lau. He taught me a bill exchange, and later I went home and didn't practice it for 3 or 4 days before I set it up. And apparently, I misremembered how he had showed me how to do it because I did it different and I did it better.
What year was that? Do you remember?
That was
How
when
old are you?
I don't remember. I was about 14 years old, so it was mid 70s
Okay.
sometime.
Mhm.
And I was doing it. By the time I got to Magic Island, it was part of my regular performance.
Mhm.
And um, Bob Blau eventually wrote a book where he explained all of the methods of the things that he had invented. Um, read the book after I bought it, read the book, and said, "Well, wait a minute, that's not the way I do the trick. He must have had two methods."
Mhm.
Because I was sure in my head that I was doing it the way he taught me. So I went to him and asked him about it. I said, "Did you have two methods on how to do this?" And he goes, "Oh no, that's the way I do it. That's the way I've always done it." And I said, "Well, I thought you taught the trick to me this way." And he goes, "No, no, your method has always been better. I've known that for years.
Oh.
Every time I see you do it, it's way better than mine. Yours can be done surrounded, mine can't." And so I didn't know, but apparently the inventor of his trick knew that I was doing something completely different.
Yeah.
And that's been the test of time. Every time somebody else has something similar, we just said, well, let's do it side by side. And it's completely different in my handling and the way it does, and can be done surrounded in a cocktail situation, or if I'm
Yeah.
doing it in
That's what I
a
like.
crowded
Yeah.
location and I don't have to worry about somebody walking up behind me in the middle of the trick. If you're doing the traditional $1 to $100 bill switch, you got to be very careful who walks up behind you, where they're looking from. This doesn't have those problems. If you know they're there, your handling can change a little bit. If you only have one person, you can do it very clean. But if you know you're in a situation where you may be
It's
surrounded,
still clean. It's still
it's
clean.
clean,
Yeah. They're
but you
both
just
clean.
have to change the moves just slightly,
Yeah.
and it's all explained in the video that comes with it.
Construction. Yeah. Yeah.
So I held it tight for a long time and didn't let anybody have the secret, especially in Houston. When I finally did start selling it, I never sold it to anybody in
Mhm.
Houston because I didn't want to be uh, out somewhere showing someone my trick and say, "Oh yeah, I saw so and so
Oh.
do that the other day," because I could 100% say, "No, you didn't," because I've never taught it to anybody that you would have seen. The first person that bought it, he just begged me to sell it to him. He said, "I'll give you $1,000 right now." I didn't believe him. And I said, "I don't want $1,000. I want your course," because he taught hypnotism, actually.
Oh, who is he? Can you say his name, or you can't? It's
Not because
secret.
I haven't got
Okay.
permission to
All right.
say
Cool. Cool.
say it, but if he had the permission, he teaches a lot of people hypnotism and
Nice.
taught several of my friends. We became friends, and but then he said he would give me $1,000 if I if I gave him an exclusive. He
Mhm.
originally wanted it for a 1-year exclusive. I said, I'll give you a 2-year exclusive. Give me $500 worth of your stuff and a $500 check. And I thought he was bluffing.
Mhm.
He pulled out his checkbook right then. We were in a nightclub talking about it. He pulled out a check and wrote me a check,
Mhm.
handed it to me, and said, pick what you want off the website. And so that was the deal. I pulled out the dollars out of my wallet, showed him how to do it, gave him the 1 to 2 fives that I had with me, and said, okay, practice it. You're the only guy to do it for the next 2 years.
That's cool.
And then later, a few years after that, I was at a TAOM convention, and a magician and producer of talent, Dave Thomas, not the burger guy, but not Dave Thomas from Wendy's, but
Wendy's, yeah.
Dave Thomas from producing theme park shows. He was the #1 theme park producer for a long time. Um, and he wanted to learn my dollar bill exchange and my gypsy thread routine, which is a great stage routine. And he said, I'd love to learn those, but I learn better on videotape than someone teaching me or explaining it. And he said, so I'd like to put it on tape. I said, well, that's no problem. And he said, well, I tell you what I'm going to do. You come up to my studio in Tulsa, and we'll have a 5-camera shoot. Then I'll have my editing guy go into the editing suite and make you DVDs of each of these products, and you can use those to sell them in the future. I said, well, I don't know if I ever want to sell it. But he says, if you do, you'll have it on DVD. Then we'll all have it on DVD. I can watch it at my own leisure. So that's what we did. I went up and we shot. It was actually 7-camera shoot that he used, and we recorded it, and they edited it, and out it came. I had a DVD of each of the tricks,
That's cool.
and I still kept it close to the vest. I only sold it when I was at conventions here and there. Probably less than 50 copies of either one of those tricks has ever made it into other people's hands.
But when did you start selling it? After
That was in
the
the
first game?
in the 90s. Yeah,
early 90s?
yeah.
What,
So
late 90s?
late 90s was when I got the DVD, and it was, late 90s when I would do some convention. I used to sell, I used to make color changing knives. I used to manufacture illusions. And so I would have stuff to sell, but not a whole lot of products in my booth. It was all stuff that I had made myself. And the DVDs were back then $50 a piece, or you could buy both tricks for $80, So, and quite a few people actually bought, not a lot, but bought the two because it was cheaper. And then one stage, the gypsy thread routine is a really good thing as well. But so it's gone by, and now I've got my own theater, and I'm concentrating more on like mentoring people and
Yeah, he is a great
trying
mentor here in Houston. Like,
trying to give back to the community. I'm trying to teach younger magicians some of the things that I've learned over the years. Don't waste your time on certain things and go more for other things. But when people say, "Oh, the stuff you have is so practical," it's practical because I've done it so many times. If it didn't stand up to the test of thousands of shows, it couldn't last in my repertoire. So we decided, well, after much pleading and begging,
yes.
and
We
you
love
should
the
really
trip.
put it out. I actually did it this last August. We were at Magic Live.
Yeah, that went
And
viral.
I showed it to a friend who happens to be one of the consultants for David Blaine. And David Blaine, he called David Blaine and said, look up my buddy Lanny. You got to see his dollar bill trick. And so my phone was burning up the next day saying, David's looking for you. Blaine wants to see you, yada, yada, yada. So we finally hooked it up. It took all day to finally find us both in the same room at the same time. And we showed it to him. He said he wanted to learn it. I was willing to actually give him an exclusive on it if he wanted to. Years ago, Chris Angel wanted to put it on his website, and he said, come over to my warehouse tomorrow and we'll videotape it. But I invented a couple of things that Chris Angel used on Mind Freak. And
No way, really? Which? Oh, you can't say which one.
yeah, no, it's my
cool.
professional rope knife he used twice on Mind Freak. I actually, because I was good friends with Banachek, right before Chris started filming, I was at a convention. I think it was a desert seminar or something like that,
Mhm.
and uh, Banachek. I said hi to him, and Chris was with him, but I didn't really know Chris at the time, and because Chris hadn't done Mind Freak, he was like a week away from starting filming on Mind Freak, and they were kind of in trouble because he was short.
Were you in Houston back then, or were
Yeah, I
you
was living
okay?
in Houston, but we were in Vegas
Oh,
at the
okay. All
convention.
right. All right.
And so Steve Banachek came over and said, "Lanny, do you know Chris Angel?" I said, "Oh, I've seen you on TV." Yeah, he had a special going on, and so they took me aside, and Steve explained that he was about to film a series for A&E, and he said I told Chris that when you walked by and said hi, that he said that guy invents things. Maybe he's got some stuff that you can use on Mind Freak. So uh, I showed him a couple of things that he used. He took and didn't
That's
actually
really
put
cool.
them in season 1. He did something I invented in season 2 and twice in season 3, I think. To this day, I still haven't seen the tape,
Wow.
but then later I bumped into him in an airport, and he was like, "Where have you been? Oh my God, I want to talk to you." He said, "I want your inventions, and I want to put them on my site." He had a site up for a little while where he was selling magic,
Mhm.
and he wanted me to come over right then and videotape. And I said, "Chris, I'm here on vacation. I got shorts and T-shirt, and I didn't bring the props." And he said, "How soon can you get back to Vegas?" And I said, "Well, I'm coming back in a couple of months." And in between that time, that's when his site ceased to exist
Wow.
for whatever reason. I have no idea, but the site went down.
Cool.
So we never made that deal. But
Mhm.
I had showed him during that time. He invited me to see his show, and he introduced me in the audience to. I'm the guy that invented some of the stuff from Mind Freak, and
Mhm.
took us backstage. And he said, "I just really would like to see everything you've ever invented, because we could put it on my site." And I showed him the dollar trick, and he goes, "Oh, please tell me you haven't put that out."
Mhm.
And I said, "It's only been out in limited
What
run."
year? What year was that? Or that
That
was.
was early 2000,
Wow. Okay.
and it was I would say about 8 or 9 years ago,
Hmm.
and uh, I don't remember the dates on it, but
Yeah.
anyway,
He got busy, probably. Yeah.
it
He's
was
a
when
busy
he was at
guy.
the Luxor, though. It
Yeah.
was the last year he was at the Luxor.
Oh, okay.
So, whatever. Yeah, I mean, the World Wide Web will know where that is, when that was. But anyway, so then he really enjoyed that. He said, "I want to put everything that you've invented online," and we never got around to it.
Mhm.
So then we have David Blaine that wanted it. I was willing to give him an exclusive too, but after about a month or two of just sending messages back and forth, I said, "Hey, is he interested?" Uh,
He's a busy
then
man
I
too.
just
Yeah.
decided, well, if he wanted an exclusive, he'd have asked me for
Yeah.
one. So I'm just going to put it out. Then he can learn it just like everybody else
Yeah.
learns it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But so you guys get a jump on it if you bought the thing already,
Mhm.
and you're listening to this tape.
Mhm.
Now you've got to jump on David Blaine.
Mhm.
So
That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah. Honestly, like it's the best thing. Like it's like the best. I don't do a lot of like money magic, but if I'm good, I'm mostly a card guy. But if I'm gonna do something with money, that's it. This is it.
well, the great thing about having something that's not card tricks, I
Yeah.
understand if you're a card guy and you do it, but let's face it, you don't always. I mean, some people do, but you don't always have a deck of
Yeah.
cards with you.
True.
And it looks unusual if you do.
Yep.
If you're online at the bank and it happens to come up that you're a magician,
Mhm.
and somebody says, "Show you a trick," and you pull out a deck of cards at that point, it's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But if you're online at the bank and you say, "Oh, well, wait, oh, here, I have $1," and you do a thing, suddenly you're that kind of magic that you can do it with what you
Yeah, it's
have.
an EDC. So you mean you don't care walk around
I
with
don't.
sponge balls? Sponge balls? You don't have sponge balls in your
Don't have
pocket?
the sponge balls, don't have, and I know people that, and there was a day I used to do that. I would
Yeah.
pack my pockets and hope that someone would say, "Oh, please do a trick,"
Yeah.
and I mean, all of us go through that stage at some
Mhm.
point where we just can't wait to show it to somebody.
Mhm.
That was the other reason I started manufacturing color changing knives,
Yeah.
because that was another thing that I thought in a pocket it doesn't look like it's not contrived. It's not obviously a magic prop.
It's not a prop.
You
Yeah.
know, it uses the paddle move, but you bring out a paddle with a bunny rabbit on it and say, "Oh, look, the disc spring bunny rabbit trick."
Yep.
That's a little
Has a
too
place and a time for
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but you didn't tell us how you started with magic. I think you told us the history of the trick, but like
Well,
the history of you
I
becoming
started
into
magic. I was raised by clowns. My parents were professional clowns. A lot of people
Nice.
think their parents are clowns, but mine really are. Um, but my father was in a high stress job and it was killing him. He was hospitalized for hypertension. They said, "You got to quit this. Your job is killing you. Wouldn't you rather be something else?" He said, "I wanted to be a clown." And so he started studying clowning for real. And about that time, he would, as a father and son thing, we started hanging out at magic shops and stuff. And so I started learning magic. That was when I was 9. By the time I was 12, we were doing shows. So we did our first magic show when I was 12. We were working together. A clown in town was giving us his overflow gigs and said, "The kid's really good, but he's 12." And so dress him like a clown. Nobody will really know how old he is. They'll think maybe he's a midget, maybe he's, who knows, but they won't know that he's 12. And so I dressed as a clown till I was about 16 or 18. I started dropping the clown for some shows. But so then worked hundreds of birthday parties all through high school. I did
it was like
daycare
mostly
centers.
clown stuff, not magic really,
Well,
or was it?
By the time I was 16, I had pretty much given up the clown
16.
most of the time. Definitely when I was 18 and could drive to my own gigs, it was like, "Don't need a partner anymore, Dad," so I'm off to the races. But we still did a lot of daycare centers together. Our formula for daycare centers, and we had all the daycare centers locked up in Houston. We would do several hundred daycare centers every summer. And we did it. He would work one room and I would work another room, and then we'd do 30 minutes in each, and then we would switch. So the people got 2 shows for the price of one.
Cool.
And we were doing 3, sometimes 4 daycare centers a day, times, all summer long. I told my teachers, "I make more money than you do in summer."
Yeah.
so, um, so yeah, that's all I've ever done for a living. I've been in the magic business all my life, and done all these shows. Then I started working as a house magician at Kingwood Country Club, and then right after Kingwood Country Club, they overlapped a little bit. I started working at Magic Island. I was a member at Magic Island when it was a membership club, and I used to go there all the time. Anyway, then one time I walked in and Scott Hollings. I was told, "They're looking for a new magician, and Scott's got you on his short list as far as the people that could possibly do it." And so I went in one night to watch the show at Magic Island, and he said, "Mr. Kibbey, how you doing? You want to work here?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And he said, "Can you start up Monday?" And I was, "Yes, I can." And he goes, I need 10 to 12 minutes of close-up magic." And he said, "And just be prepared to do that." My first show, I did like 18-minute show, and it killed. He said, "Oh, that was great. Never do that again."
Why?
He said, "I never want you to go more than 12 minutes. We're putting out shows. We're very crowded. People are waiting for sometimes a half hour just to see your show. If you do 18, 20 minutes for one group and less for another group, it just throws everything off. 10 to 12 minutes, solid magic, move on." So that's what we did. We started cranking out shows like a theme park. And we did it over and over. We had people waiting sometimes for 2 or 3 shows out in the hallway just to get in to see the 12-minute show, and we kept moving them in and out. The owner of Magic Island figured out that I could reset my magic show without leaving the room, and he tested it one night by not allowing me to leave the room for 4 hours. He just would go, "Reset your show. Ladies and gentlemen, come this way." He would 28 people would walk out. He would say, "Right this way." He would seat 28 more people. He would say, "Start the show," and he would lock me in. And over and over and over for over 4 hours. Then he opened the door and let those people out, and there was no more people in the hallway.
Yeah.
And he said, "That's the damnedest thing I've ever seen." He says, "Go sit at the bar and drink the rest of the night. You earned it." And
Hey, isn't that the guy who was trying to see how you?
David Ahmed, he followed me around when he saw me doing the dollar bill trick.
Oh.
He had seen other magicians doing the traditional thumb tip method with the $1 to $100 bill. and he would cuss a lot. You know, he was a hard guy, and he would say, "Well, that GD trick you did is a different GD trick than everybody else is doing." He says, "I understand the stupid thing with the thumb." He says, "I understand," and he would go, "Yours is different." He goes, "Show me that," and I said, "No, I'm not going to teach you." So he would follow me around. He'd say, "Do it for them," and he would be behind me. He said, "Do it for them." He'd be behind me on the other side. He would do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. So one day he's wearing $1,000 suit. And he's a millionaire. He says, "Do it for the people sitting on the couch where there's a glass coffee table." I'm doing it for them. I look down and I realize this millionaire is on his hands and knees
Oh,
underneath the glass coffee
that's
table,
funny.
thinking that if he could look up at it, he would find the secret.
Oh,
No,
so
he didn't
funny.
find the
That's
secret, and he got up with that GD trick is so much better, you know. But yeah, he loved it, and he would point and go do that trick for over there.
That's
Then
what I do. That
Yeah.
I love
And
this.
then we had
I asked him to show it every time.
because Houston, Texas is the home of the medical center, one of the best medical centers in the world.
Yep.
People from all over the world come here, especially millionaires from Saudi Arabia and all over the world. They come here, they bring their whole families, they stay a couple weeks, everybody gets checked up, then they go. They do this once or twice a year with their entire families. Because Magic Island was owned by Arab people with a Jordanian and a Palestinian. I'm sorry,
Persian.
Jordanian and a Persian.
Mhm.
The Jordanian was a Palestinian.
Yeah.
And anyway, and we had all different kinds of ethnic groups working there, but a lot of them were Arab, and so they spoke the language. And so we would have Saudi Arabian royalty all the time as if it was their living room. You know, it was very elegant. It had nice antique couches and you know, rugs and antique decor, and they could sit and the family could be entertained. They could have fine dining and they could drink. They would carry around briefcases full of cash. One guy, he said one time there was $7 billion sitting over there, you know, and he said, "Go show him the trick." So I showed him the trick, walked away. He came back. He said, "They want to see it again with their money." Now, I knew a way to do it with their money, and I said, "But I know what's going to happen." I said, "I'm going to do it with their dollar, then they're going to think that the 250s now belong to them. They're going to try to steal my money." Not that they're thieves, but that's the mentality. If it was my money,
It's magic
what
money.
comes out of
Free
it
money,
is my
yeah.
money. So I said, "I need to have you tell them in English and in Arabic that they can't touch it till it's turned back into a $1 bill, and under no circumstances do they get to keep the money." Well, he told them in 2 different languages. And damn if they didn't try to grab the $50 bills as soon as I made them. So they tried. I was like, "No, tell them they don't get to touch it. It's not their money." Then I changed it back and gave them back their $1 bill.
Mhm.
And I thought, wow, these guys are billionaires. And yet they wanted my money.
Yeah, it's a good investment. They're smart people. They want to invest their money.
So yes, there is a way to do it. I don't suggest it. It's tougher. It's easier the way we explained in the book, but it can be done.
Yeah.
There's a couple of different methods of how you can do it with borrowed money.
Mhm. Cool.
Especially if you know you're going to do it with borrowed money, you can have it prepared to do it that way.
Mhm.
Or you can just, after you've learned to do the moves for a while, you realize how it can be done. You just have to be more careful.
You could use like repositionable glue, or
You could
like
use that,
double-sided tape.
but it
tack
can be
it.
done as long as they're folded right.
Mhm.
You can actually do it as an exchange and hope for the best. You know, then it becomes pure sleight of hand with any setup.
Yeah, no good.
You know,
Yeah, that's cool.
it can be done impromptu. I don't suggest it,
Mhm.
but you know, it's so clean with just minor preparation, and you can literally then turn around and
yeah.
I've pulled it out, changed the one into 250s because I needed to spend the money and spent it immediately. You know, I showed the clerk, then spent the money, and they're really inspecting the money. But there's nothing. I mean, it doesn't hurt the money at all. So
Yeah,
you know,
that's cool.
you can actually spend the money.
Right. So yeah, we've been talking about this trick for a while. So I remember when I asked you like you could use it as a currency exchange, and you didn't like that idea. It is. I agree. Like changing $1 to like two fives or two fifties. It's a better magical scenario than just changing it from one currency to another. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
When I was a kid, because of how much money I could afford to carry around with me and devote to a trick,
Mhm.
I thought, ooh, the best way to do that would be to change a $2 bill into two $1 bills. Now it's only got $4 tied up in my wallet, even though I could take them apart and spend them at any time. But I'd have $4 that I could carry around. Wasn't too big of an investment.
Mhm.
The next step up would be 1 to 2 fives. Well, the one to I mean, yeah, the 1 to 2 fives got a far better reaction than the 2 to 2 ones because you're not increasing the value. People believe that if you have magic skills,
Mm.
why would you waste it on something that didn't mean anything?
Yeah. It's a good point.
Yeah, we can find a card. That's impressive, but it's impressive on a skill level.
Mm.
If they really believed you're a magician, they would say, yeah, fly or float something, do something really magical, or the dream is make me rich.
Yeah.
The joke is make my wife
Well, I guess
disappear. But they want you to do something that's grand magic
Mm.
that that motivates them.
Mhm.
Make my kids be quiet. Make this, that, or the other. Take money off my. If you're doing it at a cocktail situation or whatever, they're like, "Hey, can you make my bar tab disappear?" They actually are wanting something that benefits them.
Mm.
They can see a benefit. So that's the way I say it is, I know I usually do a card trick. I open with a card trick, and then I'll say, I know what you're saying. You're saying, yeah, you can do that card stuff, but if you're really magic, let's see you change a $1 bill into a $10 bill, $100 bill, $1,000 bill. And when you say that, they all nod their heads like, yep, that's what we want to see.
That's what we were
I'm not
thinking.
going to
Yeah.
argue with them at
Yeah.
that point because I've seen hundreds of people nodding to that sentence like, yeah, that's exactly what I would like you to do. I don't fight it at that point, but I do joke with it. I say, I can't do that. I never could do it. And then they laugh and it takes them off the hook. And now their expectation goes down. But by then I've put the cards away and now I have $1. And then I say, I saw it when I was a kid. I saw a magician take a $1 bill, fold it up, change it into whatever I have, $10 bill or a $100 bill. I like it best with two 50s. So I say, saw him change it into a $100 bill. I can never make a $100 bill. Every time I try, I get these two 50s.
It is, but
Now it's a surprise, and it's even more surprise because now there's two things. They can think, oh, he had a trick dollar that changes into something else, but now it's two things. And, at which point sometimes they want to touch it. I let them touch, but I always hold on, give a death grip on it so they can't get it away from me. Then I say, and then I continue that I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You're saying he's a magician. It must have gone up his sleeve. Once again, they're like, yeah, that's what happened. So I said, I'll let you be the sleeve guard. Put your left hand around my right wrist and your right hand around my left wrist. Now they're always saying, can you do it with my money? Can you do it? If they ask all the way at the beginning, hey, can you do that with my money? I'll give you a chance to win it. Then I tell them how they put their hands around my wrist. And now I say, I have to change the money back. I don't know why. I used to say, the government says if you don't change it back, you go to jail. And that because once again, they're saying, boy, it's stupid to change it back. That's not the way magic works. It should be you make 50s, you get to keep them, right? So, but if I don't change it back, I go to jail. And so, but I'll let you keep them. If you catch it, put your hands around my wrist. If you catch anything going up the sleeve or into my shirt, you can keep it. And they'll lie to you. Sometimes I caught it. I said, well, then you can keep it. Like, what? So then I show it to them, cleanly. If they're behind me, I said, watch it from the back, watch it from the front. I change it. To catch anything, bad for you, good for me. And then sometimes I joke, I say, give them back to me later. Okay. So now everybody at the table's like, do you really have them? And they're like, I don't know. I do.
It's a good tip. Yeah,
kind of makes them a hero when I'm saying, give them back to me later. Because the rest of their group kind of wants to know, well, where are they? What is it? What did he do?
That's a good that's a good phrase.
So
all right,
especially with a kid, I like it when at a table I'm doing let the kid hold my wrist.
Yeah.
I say, give them back to me later because now the kid's the hero. I always like to
That's
make
cool.
the kid the hero if I can at the table.
All right, then show it to us. Then don't tell us about it. You have it. You have it on you. It's always have it, right?
Always have it on. I don't always, even if I have it on me, I don't always do a trick when asked.
Okay.
Because I just like, well, I have a theater. It's like, oh, you want to see the show? Come to the theater. I'll even give
a
them
good
my
selling
card
point. Yeah.
and say, here's a discount, or whatever, 15% discount or this, that, the other. Come see the whole show. Because impromptu magic is not always the best of what you do, but this is this is pretty good. Okay, I'll do it just as if I'm doing it for you.
Oh yeah, so
People
clean.
say, I know if you're a magician, let's see you change a $1 bill into a $10 bill, $100 bill, $1,000 bill.
Yes, please.
Never could do that. I saw it when I was a kid. I saw a magician take a $1 bill, fold it up, change it into a $10 bill just like that. I never could make a $10 bill. Every time I try, I get these 2 5s. I hate it when that happens, don't you?
Yeah.
Now, people say he's a magician. It must have gone up his sleeve. So I'll let you be the sleeve guard. Take your left hand, put it around my right wrist, right hand around my left wrist. I'm going to change the money back. If you catch anything going up the sleeve, you can keep it. I'll even let you know when it's going to change. You guys can watch it from the back, watch it from the front. I'll even let you know when it's going to change. Here we go. Ready? We have 2 5s. Last look.
Yeah.
Go. Catch anything?
Nope.
Bad for you. Good.
That's cool.
There's the $1 bill.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I love it so much. That's my favorite. All right.
Give them back to me.
All right. I won't.
And right now, it's set up to do it again. So therefore,
Instant reset. Yeah.
This is the one thing I don't like to repeat it immediately. That's ridiculous. But if I go to the next table and I do it, and they see it from the back, it's not a problem. A lot of tricks are educational the second or third time. This one just seems to bother them more and more. And I have friends that have seen it hundreds of times, and it bothers them even more. They're like,
it's awesome.
I've seen him do it so many times, it just makes me mad.
It's awesome. It is awesome, yeah. All right. Is there anything else you want to tell us?
Well,
tips
just come see the show at Magic Show Theater.
Yeah, it is one of the best venues here in Houston. They have some really cool collectibles here, like very expensive stuff. It's you got to come at least for just a tour. And if you can see a show, it's like one of the best shows here in Houston, Texas. It's really cool. Highly recommend it.
I just have to say about the dollar bill itself is that it has been a door opener. It displays a certain amount of skill and also sparks an imagination in their mind. It's great for showing people that are potentially thinking about hiring you more than a lot of other things. If you put the time in it to learn it adequately, just like any trick, it takes a little bit of, it takes a little bit to get it right, to know your angles, to know where you're performing it, and keeping it with you. You can start showing it to people. It'll elevate the art form. It'll be out there, and I think it'll be a workhorse for you like it has been for me for now 40 plus years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the thing that's most requested. Hey, can you show my friend that thing with the dollar bills?
Yes.
I was talking. Hey, can you show David Blaine that trick?
Yes. Yep.
David Blaine was searching for me because of the strength. He saw one of his consultants saw it and said, "Hey, you got to see my buddy's trick." So
yeah, it is very cool. It is awesome.
Kind of thing that people will request to see of you.
Yeah, we begged him a lot to release it, and finally he agreed to share his knowledge. He's been mentoring us a lot here in Houston. He's always opened his theater for us for our meetings. He's always a great teacher. Now he's trying to give more. Right? He's a giver. You're the giver, right? Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it. Well, we enjoy the video tutorial, the video performances. We're gonna try to put more explanations on it as well. We have a PDF if you want to follow the pictures step by step. It could work with any paper currency. maybe like not the transparent currency. Like I'm from Canada, there's some transparent currency. Might be tricky, but I think it might work as well. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can contact us, magicalcards.com, or email me directly, and I can connect you to Lanny. He's always happy to help. Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Always,
How do you
yeah.
fold the thing?
Yes, exactly.
So it's
Not 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
bonus story. I have I had a friend that was living with me for a little while as a roommate.
Mhm.
He picks up the phone. He answers my phone, and he goes, "Yeah, there's some guy on the phone. He's claiming to be Jack Goldfinger, and he said he's
Oh.
calling you from the Magic Castle,
Mhm.
and he wants to know how to do a card trick that you taught him." I mean, I don't know if the guy's pranking you or what. And I was like, "Hey, Jack, how you doing?" He goes, "That's really Jack Goldfinger."
Yeah.
And Jack had called me from the Magic
And
Castle.
I've seen him perform here as well,
Yeah.
Jack Goldfinger.
Oh, Jack,
Yeah.
not here.
No, I think it was here for Memorial Day when he did the finger cutting thing.
No,
the
that's
big...
Jim Finger, not
Oh, okay, that's a
not Goldfinger and Dove. Jack
oh.
is actually the now. This was before he was the entertainment director at Magic Castle, but
Ooh.
now he's the entertainment director. But back then he was just there for the night. But he was talking about a card trick that I had taught him at Magic Island, and he calls up my house and just goes, "I forgot the second phase of that card trick." And so I talk him through it on the phone, and then I hang up, and my friend was like, "Jack Goldfinger's one of my heroes." He goes,
That's awesome.
"That was actually him? I thought it was some guy making fun of it." And I was like, "No, it was
That's really
actually
cool.
Jack Goldfinger calling me, wanted to learn a card trick on the phone."
That's awesome. Yeah. It happens sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens. All right. Thank you, Lanny. Appreciate it, man. You're awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Though.
Enjoy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.